Okay, hi guys, welcome to 5G Transformations. I'm Tamir. This is God Johnny. So we're kind of like on this little narcissism streak. We feel like this is something that we can really provide a lot of information for you guys who are just dealing with toxic family issues, parental issues, stuff like that. But something that I wanted to touch on today was being the black sheep and embracing that and the power in that and like things that you could do as being the quote unquote black sheep. With myself, I like to call it the golden sheep, but I know like within like communities and society, it's more looked at as the black sheep. Um, so just to begin with, like the black sheep, a few things that you may feel as being the quote unquote black sheep of your family is not really fitting in, maybe feeling from a young age that you're in the wrong family, or you're very different from the rest of the family. um, you may have you don't conform, you may be seen as like the rebel. um, you have very different thoughts than the rest of the family. You also don't enable certain behaviors that a lot of the family continues to enable. And you're kind of like the outsider, and some for um, I know it may look different in different families. Some of it might be like you really just completely feel completely outside, but sometimes it may just be like an internal feeling. um, but that may be something that you felt growing up, and as you get older you get to it, you see it a bit more through things, how things just play out as you get older. Do you have anything else before that might point out that you're a black sheep of the family?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, one thing that definitely jumps out, similar to what everything you've been saying, is generally you have a certain level of awareness. That's a little bit more. It's either a higher level of awareness or you're seeing a bigger picture that most of the family or most of the people around you are missing. So the black sheep is generally going to have a lot more awareness, um, and be a little bit more mature to a degree.
Yeah.
So you'll find yourself being able, you find yourself just a little bit more over situations. So yeah, basically it's just kind of like you're noticing more things for the good and bad, whereas it seems like a lot of the other people around you are probably missing it or ignoring it or not caring. So that's probably the only other thing I'd add.
Yeah. So, growing up, this could be tough depending on how you view it. Myself, I would consider myself the golden sheep of my family, but I never, I guess, growing up, looked at it as something really negative. I just felt like I was a little bit different, that was okay. But growing up and going through certain situations, I realized, like, oh, okay, like, this is why I'm in this position. And something that I found that was like very empowering based off the stuff that I've been through with my family is having this certain type of awareness and this bigger picture, like Johnny had said, and not enabling certain behaviors and not conforming, to what the family says is correct, or like that pattern is that as the black sheep or the golden sheep, you have the opportunity to break generational curses. And generational curses is just patterns that you are passed down through generations. So that could be like narcissism, but it could also be like poverty. It could also be like having children at a young age. Um,
Domestic, I mean, like molestation or
yeah,
sexual
molestation
abuse.
is like a big one. Sexual abuse, kind of all of those negative patterns that are passed down through generation and never dealt with or talked about.
Bad relationships, just thinking about
Bad
it.
relationships, not having like a father in the household, single mothers all over the family. Like these are a lot of generational curses, especially we're in the black community, that we've seen within our families and within other people's families as well. Our patterns, but as the one on the outside kind of looking in at the family, we see these patterns and we realize like this is not okay. Like this is we need to address these things. And I feel like the time that we're in right now, where there's a lot of things come to the surface, like a lot of people in our generation can no longer go without speaking on things. And a lot of the past generations are like they don't speak about anything. They like continue whether there's molestation, there's whatever. Like they're like okay, and it's like kept secret, and life just goes on. And I feel like we're in a time and a generation where things are coming to the surface, and it can no longer be brushed aside. Um, and as being the black sheep or the golden sheep, whatever you may want to call yourself, you have the opportunity to address these things with your family. It's not always easy, but it starts with you. You can bring it to your parents and see how that goes, but sometimes the older generation are very stuck in their ways. But now, with your siblings, with your cousins, having these conversations with them, addressing like um, certain things like parents not apologizing or speaking down or not being able to learn from other people, stuff like that, you have a chance now to change that just by beginning to have these conversations and address these things.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say anything?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, and then a big part of that, just, and for the black sheep is you're generally going to be, there's a reason why they call it the black sheep, and it's because you're the outcast, which means you're going to be attacked a lot of the time. A lot of the negative energy coming from the family, coming from specific family members, it's going to be generated toward you.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that do feel like they're being abused the most, whether that's physically, emotionally, sexually, whatever, a lot of the time that abuse is channeled toward the black sheep because the family notices there's something about that person, that empathic nature that you may have, or that awareness, or a lot of these black sheep might have gifts. Yeah. And because you're very gifted, you're targeted, and if we look at society, the black sheep generally is the one that's targeted, whether they spoke out against things that were wrong or were gifted with music or any kind of gift. There's always a bunch of people that generally that have narcissistic tendencies, that are in positions of power, that begin to target these individuals and try to take you out. Whether that is, now it might not be as extreme as, where they're trying to like hurt you.
Yeah.
But it can very much be emotionally trying to do that, gaslighting, spiritually trying to spread negative things about you, trying to destroy your character, trying to break your perception of how people view you. So that black sheep generally is going to experience a lot of attacks, and is generally going to have experiences they can remember or call upon where they were mistreated or singled out because of these gifts or because of that awareness that you have.
Yeah. Two things I want to say is like a lot, like you said, a lot of the times is in these dynamics, like unconsciously, like they're trying to kind of like isolate you, to a certain degree, where you may feel like now you can't stand up or you can't use your voice or you can't use your gifts. Like they kind of want to shut that out, to a certain degree. But something that you said earlier, just something I want to bring out is that they they definitely do attack you. And one thing that I heard somebody say, that you were listening to actually, was like you're he said something like the black sheep of the. I don't know if he was talking about the black sheep, but like when you are that person in your family who is standing up or making changes or addressing these things, a lot of time you begin to get crucified.
Oh, yeah.
And he compared that to like Jesus,
Exactly what I was thinking.
And yeah, he compared that to Jesus, and it's like Jesus came here to enlighten, bring awareness, bring a lot of change. And people crucified him for the good that he was doing. Like he was not doing any evil. And that's something that you may experience, also that you are like the Christ conscious of your family, but you're getting crucified for this, which is very painful. But when you look at it, you can flip it to be very empowering also, to know that you do have this ability to bring upon healing, to bring upon awareness. But like you said, it will come a lot of times with attacks and stuff like that. But exactly. do think, but at least based off on my experience, I've seen how within my own family, I begin to be able to change certain patterns a little bit. Not to say that I've fixed like everything, and like I don't think that's my responsibility, but with just bringing these awareness, even to the younger people of your family, you can begin to bring about change and like change things for the next generations and the people who are coming after you.
Exactly. And just to add on to what you're saying, the reason why you're getting attacked if you're the black sheep is because you're a threat.
Yeah.
Period. And that's the same thing with the example of Jesus. I mean, he was a threat to the structure of society based on the biblical text.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, whether it was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, anybody that stands up against the powers that be and is actually beginning to gain some traction and a following, is going to be somebody that is viewed as a threat. And if we look at it in the family dynamic, most of the time they're punishing you and attacking you because you're a threat. They look at you, you have the potential to expose them.
Yeah.
You have the potential to let other family members know what they're really doing behind that facade that they have. You're a threat to letting a lot of people know what's going on behind closed doors. If you think of any whistleblower or anybody like that, in order for the truth to be revealed, generally somebody bears the brunt of that. And so when you're telling family members or friends what they're really doing, a lot of the time your friends and family members don't even believe you a lot of the time because they're like, what? No, there's that, auntie's not that bad. Oh, uncle's not that bad. Or no, there's no way. Like, or every time I see them, they're so nice and happy. And so you're beginning to put on blast what's going on, and they view you as a major threat to the illusion that they've created for themselves. So understand that you're a major threat to them, and it's that insecurity that you trigger in them that makes them want to try to attack you or try to attack what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And this is the time and space spiritually of breaking illusions. We've seen that within society in the past like year or two. So it's happening within the family structures as well. So I would just say, like continue to hold your ground, hold your space, protect your energy. Protect yourself, surround yourself with people who match your energy, who understand you, but don't ever feel bad about what you're doing or being quote unquote the black sheep or being different from your family. Like you were born into these families for certain reasons, and then you also have like your spiritual family, like your friends can become your family, your partner, etc., etc. But you're born into these family structures for a reason, and that reason may be just to bring awareness to these patterns that have been going on for generations and generations that nobody ever wants to talk about or address.
Definitely. And I would just say you're being called for a reason. Embrace that and fulfill your mission. You don't let them see you give up. Don't let them see you stop what you're doing halfway through and just go back to regular life. Like, if you're gonna share the message, spread the word, help the family, like continue and see your vision all the way through. Because once your vision is, I know it's hard when you're in the moment, but if you follow it all the way through, once everything comes full circle and you succeed in bringing that awareness to what's going on, you'll start seeing the narcissist start getting really nervous and really scared, and you'll see them shrivel up, and you'll see who really has the power.
Yeah.
So for anybody out there in a narcissistic situation where they're stuck, where they're being manipulated, where they're being boxed out, it's important that you shine. It's important that you fulfill your mission. It's important that you end up being successful and allow your story to not end with the narcissist having the best of you. Because there's no better revenge, or there's no better way to neutralize a narcissist than to become successful without them, or to get your message out without them, because then they have to look at what you've created, and then they can't argue with that.
Yeah.
So it's important that you take this on and realize that you've been called and chosen for a reason to rectify something that might have been going on for centuries within the family lineage.
Yeah.
You know, that trauma, the problems, the pain, it's not acceptable anymore. And the change begins with you. And there's so many younger people in a new generation of children in the family dynamic that are gonna be live a life that's so powerful because of the steps that you've taken, today and before today and tomorrow. So understand that you've been called for a reason, and generally, it's it is you've been called to that because there's something within you that's very special, that you've been called to do this work on a spiritual level. So understand that you're definitely chosen for a reason, and you have the power within you to really, um, you know, really create the change.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess with that, I thank you all for listening. And do you have any last words or anything like that?
No, I think that's it. Like you said, you've been called to this for a reason. Continue to stay strong and like just do the work. If it's not working within the family, like continue to do the work within yourself, because whatever you do within yourself, like it's in the DNA, it's in your genes. It will continue to pass down, regardless, and the people around you, like that energy will be felt even if you're not speaking to them directly. So I would just say continue to do the work for yourself, first and foremost. But
Awesome. So as you all always know, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave comments. Let us know what you guys think. Check out the Patreon. Check out the website, 5dtransformations.com. And always remember, let the God within you shine
shine
bright.
bright.
Peace.